Are you smarter than a Master Ball ranked player? This is an educational series where I go over the decision-making process in high-level ranked games. This is episode 7 of the series, the first episode of season A3A. If you haven't seen the other episodes yet, check out the link on the top right. This is a top 1500 Master Ball ranked game, and we will be playing Solgaleo and Shiinotic against Silvally and Rampardos. And this is turn 3, our move. We're about to put our first energy down. Neither players has scored any points yet. Since it's so early into this game, the trainers used here doesn't matter too much. What do? Do we A. Protect Morlo? Or B. Let Morlo get knocked out? I'll give you guys 5 seconds before giving you guys the answer. If you need more time, then feel free to pause the video. And the answer is A. To protect Morlo. I'll go over the reasons why this is the correct play as I go over the gameplay. And understanding why is important if you want to learn how to beat this matchup, as it is one of the harder matchups when going first. The opponent went second as Silvally and Rampardos, which means they are most likely going to win. We have a more low start, which is ideal, but we really need more Pokemon on our board. We prefer to research first and then Pokeball, since we really need a Cosmog, since we have the Rare Candy and Solgaleo already in our hands. We get the Cosmog, so we are in good shape, as long as we dodge a Mars on our opponent's turn. The opponent gets another type No on the bench and no Skull Fossil. So it's still a pretty good board for the opponent overall, but I think we have a fighting chance. The opponent gets Heads on its Quick Blow, which is huge for the opponent. It allows the opponent to save on resources to get the first knockout. We unfortunately could not draw the Shiinotic to allow us to open up more options on potentially saving the Morlo. We evolved the Cosmog into Solgaleo with Rare Candy. And now we already know we're gonna protect the Morlo. And we're gonna do it by Rising Road into the active spot with our Solgaleo. By doing this, we add the Metal Energy on the Solgaleo to prepare it to attack on the next turn. We Mars to get rid of 2 cards from the opponent's hand. Sabrina would have been okay too, from a disrupting tempo point of view. My thought process was, if we don't use Mars now, then we'll probably won't use it later in this match. Since once the opponent gets the knockout on the Solgaleo, the game is probably close to ending, whether that's gonna be our victory or theirs. And because we moved the Solgaleo up to the active spot, it pressures the opponent to have Rampardos up and running within 2 turns in order for them to win the game. This might be a lot to take in, so I'll try to explain it slowly. Had we chosen option B instead, which is to let the Morlo get knocked out, the opponent would have knocked out the Morlo with the type No, without evolving it into Silvally, instead saving it for the type No on the bench, and adding an energy on the type No on the bench. And then we would have moved the Solgaleo up to knock out their type No. They bring out the Silvally from the bench to do 100 damage. So you're probably thinking it's the same thing, right? They're still on a Rampardos evolution draw. However, the majority difference for option B is that we are down a point for allowing the Morlo to get knocked out. Whereas for option A, we would be in the same position except having 20 to 40 more damage on the Solgaleo, because the opponent cannot get both Silvally up and running to be able to do their 100 damage attack since they are 1 energy behind, despite going second. In exchange for taking 20 to 40 more damage in option A, the opponent would have 0 victory points compared to option B. And this difference is huge because remember, we are playing a Solgaleo and Shiinotic deck, which is known for consistency. We have a lot of ways to draw to get our second Solgaleo up and running fairly quickly. And taking this line of thought will allow you to beat Silvally and Rampardos more consistently in this matchup. By conceding that first victory point by not protecting the Morlo puts you in a disadvantage, because now you can't afford to allow 1 Solgaleo to get knocked out. The Silvally and Rampardos deck has enough firepower to deal with 1 Solgaleo, especially if they are going second. But dealing with 2 Solgaleos is a lot harder to deal with for that deck. The rest of this game is pretty straightforward. The 5-card Mars actually puts the opponent so behind that they can't put up a fight. I'm gonna throw in a bonus game for this episode after this match to showcase the concepts that I went over here in more detail. This is a top 3000 ranked game. Same matchup. The opponent gets to go second, which is a huge advantage for them, as mentioned earlier. We Pokeball and then Professor's Research since we have the Shiinotic and Rare Candy in our hands, which means that we are ready to push for a Solgaleo evolution lineup. And personally, I wanted to gamble to get the Cosmog and to thin the deck out to get a higher chance of getting the Solgaleo, considering that we are going first, which means we are at a disadvantage. We get to fully fill our bench up, which prevents an opponent's Mars. The opponent gets the perfect bench setup on his side as well, 1 type Null and 1 Skull Fossil, which is everything he needs to win the game. He even gets the heads on the Quick Blow, which puts him in the best possible board state. We evolve the Shiinotic to Illuminate to get another Shiinotic. Which gets us our Solgaleo to be evolved with Rare Candy. 2 Shiinotics on the board and a Rare Candy in our hands guarantees us to get the second Solgaleo next turn. And we do the same thing as the previous matchup. We Rising Road into the active spot to start tanking with the Solgaleo. We Mars to get rid of one of the opponent's card for the same reasons listed in the previous match. The opponent evolves his type Null into Silvally and uses Mars to trigger the attack bonus, which means he does not have any other supporters in his hands that he can use. We get the Rare Candy back, which greatly improves our chances of victory. We evolve the Cosmog into Solgaleo after illuminating for it one more time. We knock out the Silvally, and the only line that the opponent can take to win the game now is to evolve his Skull Fossil into Rampardos this turn and getting another Silvally or Rampardos up and running within 2 turns. And this is only because the opponent went second. Had they went first, the best outcome they can manage will be a tie at best, since our second Solgaleo will have enough energy to sweep the rest of the board. The type Null on his bench is now useless for this turn, since it is 1 energy behind from being able to attack a Silvally, which is why he had to bring the Skull Fossil out. For this match, had you let the Shiinotic get knocked out against the Silvally, you would bring your Solgaleo in to knock out the Silvally and take 10 recoil damage to bring you down to 170 HP. The opponent will then bring out the type Null and do Quick Blow for 20 to 40 damage. If it does 40, then you'll be in knockout range from a Rampardos, since after your recoil damage from attacking again, you'll be at 120 HP. You can retreat into your second Solgaleo, but now you lose the game to Osiris. But what is most important is that you allowed your opponent one more turn to potentially get their Rampardos. And the Rampardos will be at full health, since once it knocks out a Solgaleo, the opponent wins the game. Whereas in this scenario where you did not concede a point from your Shiinotic, the Rampardos will take 50 recoil damage from knocking out the Solgaleo, which allows you to follow up with only 1 attack from the second Solgaleo. Otherwise, it will require 2 attacks to knock out the Rampardos. This doesn't matter too much if you're going first, since you are 1 energy behind from attacking with your second Solgaleo, but it helps secures the victory if you're going second in this matchup. You will only lose to a Sabrina, but at that point the opponent would need the exact 5 cards to be in his hand in order to win that game. And this is how you secure games of Solgaleo and Shiinotic against a Silvally and Rampardos. If you want to see more videos like this, then do hit that like button and leave a comment below. It really does help the continuation of this series. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you guys next time.